Hello, Mahi Ve. That was Mahi Ve by Josh. Welcome to Desi Beats at CKUT 90.3 FM live from Montreal with your presenter and host Aisha. So, bonsoir, namaste, hello, sasyakal, shagatam, assalamu alaikum, marhaba, wannakam, and welcome to Desi Beats, a 9th of March episode. And today is minus 7 degrees centigrade in Montreal. Lovely weather. And in terms of Women's Day, happy Women's Day to all the people out there. Hopefully you're enjoying today's day, trying to recognize the women in your life and in the whole world. It's like a salute to all of them who are doing great stuff and who are so important in our life. And in South Asian communities, mothers, sisters, daughters are so important and are so respected that it's beautiful. So today's show is going to be a dedication to them, for sure, but a very special show. Because, the fact that I love doing radio is one thing, but another thing is important is that I get to meet, I get to talk, and I get to interview such amazing people. And especially when I interview these great, amazing women from the South Asian community, I'm just like so proud and happy to be connected to them, and I feel proud of it, yes. So today is a very special show because we're doing a phone interview. Yes, it's going to be first time in my show, and it's none other than Parul Gupta, and I've already posted on Facebook, and some people are very excited, and my listeners are always excited when I have dancers, teachers who are choreographers or who are associated with the artistic side of South Asia. So she is one person that's very important in terms of that. So she is actually the principal founder and artistic director of Infusion Dance Studios, and so this dance studio is located in Toronto as well as in Montreal. And I have always posted about them before as well. And they have amazing dance classes going around. And in terms of Parul Gupta herself, she is just, her love, her passion is evident on the website. I don't know why, but I feel like it has a very fresh look to it, a very fresh infused form, like a fusion form of Indian dance, and like it really goes well with the Montreal and Toronto taste. So we're gonna talk to her and about a lot of things, like the dance classes she had, what she's doing these days, her workshops. She also has been judge at some certain dance classes. She has choreographed a lot of things, and she's friends with these two singers and musicians from the Josh Band, because I've talked about them before and I'm such a big fan of them as well, and they're actually from Montreal. So we're going to talk about all these things, and I'm kind of excited and kind of getting breathless now. And but before that, so I'm going to take a music break, and after that we'll have Parul in our studios through our phone. So get ready, and hopefully you're going to love today's show. And in case if you have any questions, you can always call during our music break, and you can call at 514-448-4013. So get ready for this very interesting, lovely talk with Parul Gupta celebrating Women's Day as well. Enjoy this track, Aaja Nach Le.
मेरा झुमका उठा के लाया यार वे, जो गिरा था बरेली के बाजार में। मैं तो ठुमका लगा के शर्मा गई, बोली घूम कर बता दे के मैं आ गई। मुझको लौटा के नाच ले, आजा नाच ले मेरी यार, तू नच ले झनक झनक झनकार। हो नच ले मेरे यार, तू नच ले, अब तो लूटा है बाजार। सबको भुला के नच ले, आजा नच ले मेरे यार, तू नच ले झनक झनक झनकार। हो नच ले मेरे यार, तू नच ले, अब तो लूटा है बाजार। झनकार। हो नच ले मेरे यार, तू नच ले, अब तो लूटा है मैं तो कम से निकली थी, जरा तन के चली थी। मैं तो कम से निकली थी,
Hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this track. And as I told already, today is 9th of March, 2014, a special show in terms of Women's Day, and also because I am interviewing Parul Gupta today. Yes, the founder of Infusion Dance Studios based in Toronto and Montreal. So I would like to welcome her without any delays and hope the connection with the phone is all working. So we'll check first. If it doesn't work, that it's okay. I'm going to make it work. So hi, Parul. Are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Aisha.
Okay, I'm just going to adjust your volume so that it's, welcome to Desi Beats at CKUT.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your show.
No,
it's
actually,
a real pleasure.
Yeah, actually, we are thankful, and I'm kind of like one of your fans as well, so I'm kind of excited. I love
That's so sweet.
Just before we start, I love your pose in the blue dress on the website. That's so artistic and so feminine.
The one that's on my page with my elbow?
Yes.
That one?
With the long
Thank you so
blue
much.
dress. It's just
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you. That's a Kathak pose.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
okay. Okay. So, guys, we have Parul Gupta here, we're gonna be talking to her a lot, and that's what I was telling her. I'm gonna be short of time, and my questions wouldn't finish because we need to drain a lot of information. So, do you listen to Desi CKUT or any radio stations from South Asian communities though?
They have a couple in Toronto that I have to admit I don't listen to regularly.
That's true.
But I do listen to them time to time, and they have such interesting information and lovely music, of course.
Yeah,
so it's always great.
And as Josh, we played the track. It's kind of like you recommend it in any during the interview. If you want any favorite songs to be played, let us know. So I'm going to play it right away. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's. Because I was like, okay, so you tell us a bit about your life. So how come the coordination between Toronto and Montreal, how does it work? And I think you've also worked in US. So how does this work between all these cities?
Sure. Okay. Well, it's mainly between Montreal and Toronto.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I spent most of my life in Montreal. I grew up in Montreal, and I've done most of my artistic practice in Montreal also. And about 4 years ago, I moved to Toronto because my husband is from here.
Okay.
So I shifted mainly for marriage.
Okay.
And as well, it gave me an opportunity to expand my dance company and my artistic practice and to develop as an artist in two cities.
Okay.
So
it's an exposure to a even bigger South Asian community as well.
Yeah, exactly. A very different South Asian community because they are quite different in Montreal and Toronto. Size, of course, is one thing.
That's true.
But also the way you see sort of the segregation within the community. So because Toronto has so much larger of a South Asian community, they have a lot of sub-communities,
Okay,
so they have a very big Gujarati community. They have a very big Punjabi community. And in Montreal, because we're a smaller number, the community, we might have smaller communities too, but we are a bigger community at large altogether.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's evident. Okay, so you actually moved, but in growing up in Montreal and getting involved with classical dance, I would have predicted that if you were born and raised in India or some other South Asian country, how did you got inspired? Was it your upbringing or it was just personal choice?
Well, it was definitely upbringing to begin with.
Okay.
And, my mom, my mom is also my biggest inspiration. But she's the reason that I'm a dancer. And that's because when I was growing up, she put me in Indian dance classes. And, at the time, I think, she wanted us, myself and my sister, to learn Indian dance. But it was also a way for her to make sure that we stayed in touch with our cultural roots, our heritage, mingle with different Indian kids on a weekly basis and that sort of thing. And I think, to my knowledge, a lot of Indian people that I meet that grow up here in the West, they have a similar experience. They get put in classes, Hindi classes, dance classes, because their parents want them to develop that sense of heritage.
And connection to back home.
To their culture. They don't want them to lose it. simply
Yeah.
because they're growing up in another country.
Yeah.
So, we started off for that reason. And because my mom also, dance was also important to her, she sort of made it a military rule that my sister and I
Oh.
had to go to dance class when we were young. And believe me, we tried to quit many times. But
yeah.
she did not allow us. So I'm forever grateful to her for that. She just pushed us to stay in. And but she told me, listen, you've got to stay in dance class until you're 16 years old, and then after that you can decide what you want to do. And by the time I was 16, I mean,
You were
I was
already in love with it.
I was in love. I was in love.
Yeah.
Thoroughly in love.
It was
with
a good trick
and
on your mom's part, I would say.
It was. I'm definitely going to use her strategy when it's my turn. So that was really intelligent what she did,
Okay.
But I think she sort of pushed me in that direction. And the thing that I'm also lucky for is I was pushed in that direction, but then, I then took it on and I explored dance in the way that made sense to me. And that was sort of the next phase, I would
Yeah.
say, of my life,
Yeah.
is, moving on to study different dance styles.
So,
and
sorry,
practice.
just to interrupt you, but sorry about that. But so your mom is also she is trained in classical dance?
Yes. So my
Okay.
mom, her main practice right now is she's a full-time yoga teacher.
Okay.
Hatha yoga teacher, very traditional.
Oh,
authentic.
really? Is she in Montreal?
She's in Montreal.
Oh, okay. You know what? We need to know her information because so many of the
course.
listeners want to know because Hatha yoga is something I really love, and a lot of people love it because it's more original form of yoga, to say.
It is, and
Yeah.
she teaches the most traditional, most authentic Hatha yoga that you would see almost anywhere. So maybe you can interview her one day because
Yeah.
she would love that.
And
So
she's
it would be great.
teaching in a school or something? She has her private classes?
She has everything. She
Okay.
teaches in group classes and she teaches private classes as well.
Okay, listeners,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to get all the information is going to be on Facebook, and I'm going to promote her classes in coming shows. So no worries.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to get that. Okay, so so the first time you started learning as a kid was Kathak or Bharatanatyam? That's mostly
It was-
they learn, I guess.
It was Bharatanatyam,
Okay.
simply because, especially at that time in the West,
Yeah.
Bharatanatyam had flourished much more than Kathak.
Yeah, that's true.
And even though I'm North Indian by background, so my mom actually was a Kathak dancer in India, but there wasn't really
Yeah,
there
classes
wasn't
out
many
there.
popular. That's right. So we were in Bharatanatyam.
Even now, Bharatanatyam.
Even now.
Yeah.
Even now, Bharatanatyam is much more available
That's
than
true,
than is
yeah.
Kathak. That's very true. So we did that, and we did that for let's see, I must have studied Bharatanatyam for about 15 to 20 years. And then after that, I went on to explore Western forms of dance. So, I explored hip-hop, I explored jazz, ballet, house, and some modern dance as well. And I think that, when I really think about it, I feel like growing up in Montreal was sort of one of the main reasons why I was able to do this and why I was inspired to do this. Because I had friends from all walks of life, in Montreal. Growing up in a place like Montreal offers you that opportunity, And I think that having such vast exposure gave me inspiration, it gave me outlets, and it gave me the ability to go out and learn different things, and not just from a technical standpoint, but from a cultural standpoint, too. And I think that's how you make an emotional connection with
that's what I was going to say.
anything, is through
Yes.
culture,
And
right?
that means a lot because emotionally, when you're involved, then you have a stronger connection, and it goes on
Absolutely.
forever for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so
And then you can make it personal.
yeah, that's true. So, so you studied dance as well, university level or college level? Was that the case?
So no. So I did in university. I did my undergraduate degree in molecular biology.
Oh wow!
And then I did my MBA after that. So scholastically, I mean, I did the the practical good good Indian girl degrees.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I didn't want it to say, but then you just said it. Yeah. It's the thing that we all kind of do, eh? We just have to.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we're encouraged to by our families,
That's
right? Like
true,
they want us to have degrees that they feel that we can rely on for a living, and they're not wrong in pushing us to do that, But sort of on the side, I pursued my dance very seriously on the side, and then eventually I was fortunate to turn it into my profession, and that was after I finished my schooling and all, so I feel very happy and grateful for that.
Oh, okay. So you were able to do that, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you went to most probably university in Montreal, I guess?
Yes, I went to Concordia University for my undergraduate degree, and then for my master's I went to Western University.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the dance too, but just quickly I wanted to ask, like, what your experience of, a teenager or a university student in Montreal from a South Asian community, being a female, like, how was your experience? And, like, how did you connect? Like, because your parents are from different country, but you're actually Montrealer and Canadian. There's nothing, like, this is a fact. But, like, it must be interesting, like, unique, or sometimes was it hard? Like, how did you... How was the experience?
I think that when I was younger, so say like early teenage years, it was difficult. And the reason it was difficult was because, I'm the first child born in my family. And so, of course, for my parents, everything that I did was new for them, right? And understandably, that's difficult because children in the Western world, like in Canada, are raised completely differently than how they are in India.
Yeah.
So, of course, upbringing that way is difficult. And then you go to school and you see all your friends do completely different things from you at home and at school. And so you're kind of living in two worlds, and you're not really sure how to find the balance. And also, you're not, at that time, you're also not mature enough to find the balance, right? You're young, and you don't know, you can't understand why these two worlds are so different and why there's no connection.
Yeah, you kind of feel confused sometimes.
Yeah, you feel confused, you feel frustrated, and you don't know how to make sense of it. And then, of course, it's difficult to cope. But I think the beauty is that as you get older and you mature and you find the connection, it's that it just turns into such a beautiful experience, because now you have two worlds to be a part of rather than one, right?
Yeah.
You have two sets of values. You have so much culture that you can be a part of. And I think for me, dance is the thing that ties it all together. Right? Dance is the thing that actually, for me specifically, I know everyone has different tools and outlets, but dance is specifically the thing that allowed me to bridge my two worlds.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, but in Desi Beats, we have like a motto that South Asian music, like in general, it has no boundaries or borders. And in terms of music, dance, it has no boundaries or like cultural restrictions. Everything is global, and it's all about fusion.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Talking about fusion, we go to Infusion Dance Studio. So I'm very interested in the name. So listeners, if you just tune in, I would like to say that you're listening to Desi Beats at CKUT and at 90.3 FM, live from Montreal. And we have a very special guest, Parul Gupta, and we're talking about her dance studio, the dance forms that she teaches, and her inspirations and her experiences as a dancer, a dance teacher. So, Parul, you were telling us about this studio that you founded, I would say.
So, Infusion Dance Studios, the word infusion itself comes from Indian fusion, which is the main dance style that we offer at Infusion Dance Studios. And Indian fusion essentially is it's the amalgamation of Indian dance and Western dance, and specifically the Indian dance styles that I've trained in and the Western dance styles I've trained in. So I pulled together from Indian classical dance, mainly Kathak now, and some Indian folk dance styles, together with hip-hop, jazz, a little bit of ballet, some house. So all these other Western dance styles that I've also had training in. And that's essentially what Indian fusion dance is about.
Okay, so what type of English dances are fused in it? Like you told us about the Indian, but what about the English, like Western?
So like hip hop and house and all of the hip hop, house, some ballet, and some jazz. So those are sort of the dance forms that are more prominent or popular in Canada, which I've also been fortunate to have some training in. So I've sort of taken my training from that and brought it together with my training in Indian dance and created a style called Indian fusion dance.
Yeah, I have like so many questions in my head, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going to say something.
Sure.
So let's say if someone goes for an Indian fusion dance class or a Kathak, it would be easier for like a new person to do Indian fusion, I guess, more than Kathak in general. Is that the case or not?
Okay, well, actually, each of the styles has a different purpose, okay?
Yeah.
So Indian fusion is a class where we focus a lot on choreography and dance phrases. So we'll bring together technique from different dance forms, and we put them together in one choreography. And
lovely.
and it's really nice. So when you're dealing with a variety of different techniques, you sort of give the basic training of a certain technique as far as you need to know it for that choreography, and maybe a little more. But generally, in Indian fusion dance, we're focused on the dance choreography that we're teaching.
Okay.
When you teach a style or learn a style like Kathak, you're really focused on the technical aspect of dance. So what that means is instead of learning a choreography, you're now learning a very specific set of movements, which you have to train your body in over and over so that you can execute it with a lot of ease and grace so that it looks nice when you do it.
Yeah. For the listeners, could you tell us like different forms? Like what's the difference? Well, I know the difference between Kathak and Bharatnatyam or DC dance, let's say. So just to summarize like shortly, or how would you like as a dancer would say, like what's the difference you see in these dance forms? And also compared to folk song as well, folk dance style.
Sure. Well, I'll start off maybe by describing the difference between classical dance and folk dance. So classical dance, a lot of it is based on it's based on ancient philosophy, ancient Indian philosophy. So it goes back many, many years, and you can say it's a historical or ancient dance form, right?
Yes.
And when you talk about folk dance, a lot of folk dance from India originated around the idea of agriculture. So a lot of it is centered around celebration when the crops were good.
Yeah.
And also, yes.
Yeah, like Lori festival in Punjab.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then a lot of it is centered around the idea of community. Folk dance is always centered around community and community dance. So the objective of classical dance and folk dance are very different. In terms of how they look, classical dance tends to look very defined, very technical, almost perfect in the way that it's executed.
And I guess more artistic.
Artistic and very like structured, extremely structured in how it's looked. And folk dance is usually much more light, much more social, much more the idea of fun and celebration and gathering.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why typically in India, if you look at classical dance, it's usually performed by a soloist.
Oh,
and
yes,
if you look at folk dance, it's always in a group.
Like Bhangra dance. Okay, yeah. Or Gujarati, they do, I don't have it, because they have their special
Garba, they do Garba
yes,
and Dandiya. Yeah,
Garba,
right.
Dandiya.
So those are all community dances, right, where people do them together. Yeah.
Okay, so you're offering Indian fusion dance. You explained Kathak, Bollywood, yoga and dance, Bhangra. So much going on. So so yoga and dance is, I guess, it's combined with both of them. But is it like slow motion or fast?
The idea of yoga and dance, as I mentioned, my mom is a yoga teacher, and then I'm also a yoga teacher, and so I bring yoga into my dance practice as well. And what my mom and I discovered was that a lot of people that are beginners to yoga often feel nice when they do yoga to music.
Yeah, that's true.
So what we sort of what we started creating were yoga choreographies to music. So instead of using dance movement, we started using yoga stretches and asanas and putting them together in a choreography to music.
Yeah, it just came into my mind the song from Ram Leela. Ram Chahe Leela, Leela Chahe Ram, the song. I don't know if you've heard. It's also based on yoga postures, and that's what the choreographer was telling. Like, I was listening online, and I was like, oh, okay, so yeah. It looks very sensuous.
Beautiful, exactly. Yes. It is. And, yoga and Indian classical dance have similar roots if we go back thousands of years, you know?
Yes.
So it all makes sense that you can bring them together.
And now the Bollywood, which is like a huge thing in Montreal.
Yeah.
I've seen people are just in love with it.
So, they really are.
So is it like party tracks, like Mahi Ve, people jumping, doing bhangras? Is it that? Or like burning a lot of calories, sweating?
Yeah, well, what's interesting about Bollywood is that Bollywood, it's one of these words that's based really on an industry rather than a technique,
Yeah,
so when we talk about Bollywood, really the word is referring to the Indian film industry. And that is
Bombay.
Always changing. It's Bombay, right? It's a scene, it's a culture, and it's trendy.
Like Hollywood.
And so what I find interesting is that Bollywood classes are so different everywhere you go, and it really depends on who's teaching them, and it depends on what song you're using, and it depends on so many different. It can change so much. So for us specifically at Infusion, we're pretty focused on making sure that whatever movements we teach, that we can also teach the students, what is the background of this movement? Like, what is the real technique of this movement? And where does it come from? And how does it relate to this choreography? So we sort of that's kind of the Indian fusion approach, I guess you can say, to Bollywood. So when we teach Bollywood, we always take it with that thought that, we're going to create dance phrases that have that in mind.
Okay. Sounds good. How about we take a short break?
Sure.
And I'm going to play the song, one of the songs that you recommended by Josh, Ye Zameen.
Yeah.
Why do you
one of my favorite songs by them. Yes.
Do you like to say something about the song? Like why and what it means to you?
Maybe I can just start off by saying that, Josh, they're very good friends of mine. And particularly Q from Josh. I mean, we went to university together, and he always really pushed me to pursue my passion in dance, and I'm really grateful to all his perseverance in that. And I really connect to their music. And this particular song, sometimes when I'm in the dance studio practicing and feeling the need for some inspiration, I do put on this song, and I sort of just let go and let what comes, and I find that I usually have a great rehearsal after that.
Cool.
So that's why I love this song.
So, listeners, we're going to listen to Ye Zameen, which means This Earth, by the band Josh, and their album is Beyond Kismat, Beyond Faith. That's what it means. So we're going to try to relax with this, and hopefully you're enjoying today's interview, Parul Gupta, and we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned and keep listening and keep enjoying Desi Beats. सुनते रहिए और हमारे साथ रहिए.
ज़मीं गा रही है, आसमां गा रहा है, साथ मेरे ये सारा जहां गा ये सारा जहां गा रहा है ये ज़मीं गा रही है आसमां गा रहा है साथ मेरे ये सारा जहां गा रहा है आना जाए इस जगह आज एक नौजवान गा रहा है साथ मेरे ये सारा जहां गा रहा है ज़मीं गा रही है आसमां गा रहा है साथ मेरे ये सारा जहां आसमां गा रहा है ये ज़मीं गा रही है आसमां गा रहा है ये ज़मीं गा रही है ये ज़मीं गा रही है आसमां ज़मीं गा रही है आसमां गा रहा है
Ooh, lovely. It was Ye Zameen by Josh, and you're listening to Desi Beats at CKUT 90.3 FM. Right now it's 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes past 6, and I'm your host Aisha for today's show, and 9th of March, and we're also having we have a very amazing guest, Parul Gupta, which perfectly suits with the today's theme of Women's Day, you know, like we are celebrating that as well, and celebrating the amazing women from the South Asian community and women from Montreal community for sure. So Parul is here. Welcome back, Parul, to Desi Beats.
Thanks, Aisha.
Yeah, we're having a phone interview with her, and everything is going great. Just
awesome.
Yeah, and so many questions to ask, and it's so nice. So we were talking about the dance studio that she founded. It's Montreal. It's in Toronto as well, and in Montreal, and it's called Infusion Dance Studio. So Pearl, you were telling us about, you know, the different dance forms and stuff, but what's the story behind this dance studio? How come you came up with this idea, and what inspired you to just go for it?
Sure. You know, it's actually it's a very special story for me how it came to be. So as I was mentioning before, Aisha, I had done my schooling, and you know, in my mind, I think even from when I was a young child, I think I always knew that I wanted to pursue dance as a profession, but I never imagined that it could be possible to do it, because I thought, you know, it's not a practical career to pursue, and I have to do, you know, something more professional or corporate or etc. So, you know, after I did all my schooling, I still had this stirring that was going on in my heart and in my mind that, you know, I have to do something more with dance. I have to do something more with dance. And at this point, I was still doing dance quite seriously on the side. I was choreographing for different shows and competitions and all, but I still just felt like there was something more to be done.
It was not more professional.
Something more, and I didn't know what that more was, but I just knew there had to be something more. So one day, I was at this community center close to my house, and in Laval at that time, and I ran into the person that managed that community center, and I said to her, you know, I teach these classes called Indian Fusion Dance, and it's, I just said it kind of, I think I even just made it up on the spot.
Okay.
And I said, it combines Indian dance with Western styles of dance, and I love this, and I'd love to offer it at your community center. And I think I half said it thinking she's going to say no, but she said, sure, let's do it,
Oh,
And
cool,
I said, okay, and she said, then we figured out the schedule. Okay, we're going to start the classes in a few weeks, and it'll be for this long. And then with the help of a couple of friends, I put together a flyer, and, I sent it to my mailing list kind of thing, and then I told some people by word of mouth that, I'm starting to teach these classes next month, etc. And within a couple of days, 20 people signed up for the class.
Wow.
And that, even looking back now on my life and on Infusion, I think that was a very big moment for me, because I kind of realized that this dance form that was so important and precious to me actually meant something to other people too, and that there is a demand for this kind of dance.
It is
the world
actually
changing.
a lot of demand, and I feel like in Montreal, I don't know about Toronto, but in Montreal, I feel like there's still shortage. There should be more and more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's absolutely right. There is definitely still a shortage in Montreal.
But Pearl, you were not supposed to do a business or anything. You were supposed to be a dance teacher.
Yes.
I'm glad that this happened.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's interesting, because if only we can tap into what life is trying to tell us.
Yeah.
There is always a message for us, There is always something that we're meant to do, all of us.
That's so sweet, and what you said is just really sweet. Yeah, it's so true. And we kind of have to listen to our heart.
Yeah. And there's the answer is always there, and sometimes the answer is not presented in the way that we like.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard part, that we get things in our life when they're meant to come, and they don't always suit the timetable we have in our mind.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what we are meant to do in this lifetime comes to us in some shape or form,
That's true.
Yeah.
So as I'm seeing the schedule, it looks very interesting. So in Montreal, there's a Bollywood Spring and coming up Summer 2004 session starting May 14th to July 2nd. So
exactly.
And your studios are located in downtown Shauna Roberts Dance Center.
That's right. That's on St. Catherine at the corner of Blurry.
372, corner of Blurry, 372 St. Catherine. So it's like a very ideal, I would say, place, location.
It is, and I think we specifically chose it that way to make it convenient for people to come.
Yeah.
And it starts at 7:30 on Wednesday night.
Ideal timings, I would say, 7:30 to 9. So and but what I like is that it's 1.5 hours. It's not just 1 hour, because you take time to get ready and get in the mood. And
also the way we like to teach, there's explanation involved in what we're doing, right? So if you do a 1 hour class, often you're just sort of following and going along, and then there's not a sense of exchange between the teacher and the dancer, because there's not enough time.
That's true. And
so our classes are half an hour longer for that reason, so we can talk to the students about what the technique is about.
That's true. And so for how long have you been doing these classes here for now? So you said, you started it after your graduation, I guess?
Yeah. Well, so Infusion Dance Studio started in 2005.
Oh, cool.
So next year it'll be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, since we started. Yeah.
Okay, and I can see that there has been a Bollywood Winter 2004 session going on right now.
Yes, and in fact, we have our open house on April 2nd for that class.
Yeah.
So anyone that wants to come and see what our style is about can come to the Shauna Roberts Dance Studio on Wednesday, April 2nd at 7:30 p.m. It's free to attend.
Okay.
And you get a sense of what we teach and how we teach and what the students are learning.
And any other dance forms you're going to be teaching soon in coming future? Any plans for like Kathak, let's say? Because in Toronto you have Kathak class, Indian fusion,
Yes. Well, typically right now in Montreal, we offer Kathak, Bhangra, yoga and dance. We offer them all on a workshop basis.
Okay.
Yeah, so not as a weekly class.
Okay.
The weekly class we're offering is Bollywood
Yes.
in Montreal. So we definitely plan to, probably in the early part of the summer,
Yes.
offer some workshops in those styles.
Oh, okay. And so the workshops would be posted, I guess, on the website?
Exactly. And we usually post it like a good 6 weeks ahead of time.
And the website is infusiondance.ca.
Exactly.
And I'm going to give the contact information fast. So that's the website. And the contact number would be 514-835-2367. It's 835-2367. And the email address is info@infusiondance.ca. You can get all this information on the website. It's fully updated. It's very beautiful, very chic and very modern and cultural and artistic website. Everything is there. It's very well organized. And you can contact Parul, I guess, through phone or through email. And you can get all information needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, these classes sound really interesting, and I'm looking forward to this summer session actually. And so total classes would be how many though?
So typically in one session, we have 10 classes.
Okay, so 10 classes, that's good. And there's a special rate before April 18th. If you register, it's just $130, and I think it's great. So, and it's booked really soon. So if you want to go for this class, go for it.
Yes,
be fast, because I remember from last time, you get filled up really easily.
We do, and it's at a first come first served basis. So the sooner you join, you guarantee your spot in our class. And we've been fortunate to have full classes.
Okay.
For a long time now. So yes, please join us. It would be lovely.
And so who else is part of your team as well, like your team members?
Yes, so the Infusion Dance team, I will say they're amazing, and Infusion Dance would not be where it's at today if it wasn't for the team behind it. So I'll start off by mentioning Divya Vishwanathan, who is the principal dance teacher in Montreal.
Yeah.
And she also has a vast dance training background, and she's also very academic. She's doing her MBA right now at McGill.
Cool.
And yes, and she is an amazing dancer and teacher and a human, and she is she's the principal teacher in Montreal. So she'll be teaching the spring-summer session that we just spoke about.
Oh, okay. She's going to be the one. Okay.
She's the main teacher. I come in to teach the class once every session.
Okay.
But she's the main teacher of the class.
Oh, okay. So she's the one. Okay.
She's the one. And then we have Rashmi Serene. Again, an amazing person, and she takes care of all our administrative things. So she looks after registering the students and answering their questions and making sure that everyone is, doing well and feeling good about what they're doing.
Oh, okay. So we have someone, that's good.
Yeah.
Someone to look after and pamper.
Yes, someone to look after the students and making sure that, the class is running smoothly, and should anyone have sort of special needs or special interests or anything like that, she takes care of them. And she really goes out of her way to take care of them.
Oh, that's nice. So in terms of this class that's coming up, what do you say about this Bollywood dance class? Would it be, some people, some people are interested if it's good for, of course, dance is always good for relaxation, but what about, weight loss? I don't know, burning calories. People are always interested to know that.
Yes. Well, the thing is that, dance, and especially in the classes that we teach, the momentum is really built up, and you do end up sweating quite a lot because you keep, you learn the moves, then you do them, then you learn, then you do. So there's just so much repetition, and there's so much practice behind what we're doing that you end up getting a real workout.
Okay.
And the relaxation part of it is that, it's combined with the elegant movements and the music and all, our purpose is to get you lost in the dance form, that you forget about everything else. We encourage that. You come to class, forget about your day, forget about your week, come to class and just dance. And if you can do that, it's like rejuvenating the soul, And that's a way to come out of it feeling relaxed and refreshed, even though you've worked out,
Yeah, time is just running short, and I'm like, oh, I have to ask her about, you just did a performance like last night.
Yes.
So how was it based on Women's Day? Tell us about that.
It was great. I mean, March 8th is International Women's Day.
Yes.
And so I performed at an event where they gathered a bunch of inspirational speakers and dancers. And it was just amazing, because you be part of these events and you see all these women that have made major changes and have done inspiring work and inspiring others to do great work. But the interesting thing is you also learn that there are still so many women in other parts of the world that are still suffering, right? That are still oppressed, and I find it brings light to all of that. It brings light to the fact that women have come a long way.
Yeah.
We still have a long way to go.
To go, yeah.
And there's still such diversity in the role women play in the world.
That's
which
true.
Which is the most amazing, interesting but sometimes sad also thing to see, that so many parts of the world are so progressed and so many parts are not.
Yeah, and even in general, in any part, women could be, it depends how many opportunities you get and the people that you're surrounded by.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Makes a lot.
Absolutely. It really does make a difference, and I think that we're fortunate as women and also as Indian women, I think, to be in this part of the world where we have a chance to be who we want to be, and we often don't think about that daily, but it is true that we are very fortunate to have an identity of our own in this part of the world.
And what about your future workshops? So are you doing any workshop in Montreal or any other part of Canada coming soon?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have ongoing workshops in Toronto and Montreal, sort of, based on the dance styles you see on our website, like Indian fusion, Bollywood, Bhangra yoga. The other thing maybe I can mention is that I have a bunch of upcoming performances. So I'll be performing for South Asian Heritage at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto on June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
Yes, and I'll be performing for the Kathak Festival in Toronto in August, and I'm performing in the Bahamas later this year as well.
Wow. So when are you coming to Montreal with a Kathak performance?
I'm hoping very soon, and when I do, the details will definitely be on the website.
Yeah, you have to let us know.
Absolutely. No, I'm working on that now, so I hope I can do that in Montreal. Yeah.
And what about the judge? You have been a judge of some cultural shows as well.
Yeah. So there's this show called the NA Culture Show, which is such an amazing show to see because it's basically all the major universities. I'm going to say across Canada, but it ends up being pretty much Ontario-based and Quebec-based. They're big dance team. So each dance team would have like 30, 40 people on them, like that. And they each do about a 10 to 12 minute performance. And it's an Indian dance competition. So they compete. The universities compete against each other.
Oh, okay.
And there's a winner, and there's an overall winner, and then there's winners of different categories. And I was the Indian classical dance judge for that show.
Oh, cool.
And this year, Miguel Concordia competed in that competition as well.
Oh.
And they did really well, so I was really happy to see a team come in from Montreal.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, cool.
And all the major different universities in Ontario, of course, represented there. And it's a big show. I mean, they pull in, the viewership is something like 1,500 or 2,000 people. And it's quite a big event, and it happens on an annual basis. So this is the second year that I was a judge at that show.
Yeah, so since, it's 56 minutes past 6, and I definitely have to wrap up the show now, I would like you to say anything you want to share, any message or any new thing you want to talk, we haven't talked about and you feel like, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, one thing is I just want to mention the 2 other members of Infusion Dance Studios that I wasn't able to before. So I want to mention Bert Kaluori, who's our social media manager.
Yes.
And also wanted to mention Pulak Trivedi, who is with me in Montreal and assists me in teaching in Montreal. And they're, again, could not do without them. Wonderful people. And my message for anyone listening that has a passion that they love is pursue it. You know, give yourself to what you love to do, and it will definitely give something back to you, something very meaningful. Yeah. And if ever there's any inspiration that I can provide to anyone, please do get in touch with me. Infusiondance.ca. Please contact me. I would love to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Parul. Thank you very much for your time. And it was just lovely talking to you. And hopefully we'll have you here in our studios in coming future as for our live show.
Thank you. I would love that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. Okay, so listeners, this was Parul Gupta with us, and right now I'm kind of running out of time, 57 minutes past 6, and I have to still play the sponsors, but I'm going to do it at the end. So hopefully you enjoyed today's show, which was kind of celebrating the Women's Day as well, and also talking to this amazing lady, Parul Gupta, who runs Infusion Dance Studio in Montreal. Very inspiring, and I love what she said, go get your dreams. Never let anyone decide it for you, especially it's for the message for the woman. Anything is possible if you want to get it. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed today's show. Keep listening and keep enjoying Desi Beats every Sunday 6 to 7 p.m. live from Montreal with your presenter and host Aisha. But from next week, Bimo is joining us and he would be doing some shows. I would be in and out, but hopefully you'll always be in my thoughts. So take lots of care. Have a wonderful week ahead. And till next week, bye-bye.
CKUT is looking for an IT coordinator. The IT coordinator is responsible for overseeing the station's network and services while providing technical support to staff and volunteers. The position requires previous experience in systems administration, particularly running Linux-based servers. The ideal candidate would also have experience with some other technologies used at CKUT, such as LAMP, Ruby on Rails, Drupal, SQL, VoIP, Samba, NFS, and Liquid Soap. The job offers flexibility and an opportunity to learn. Staff operate in an independent fashion while collaborating with others to achieve the station's goals. We will be negotiating the hours based on CKUT and the candidate's needs and abilities. CKUT offers a vibrant, creative workplace. For more information, check out ckut.ca. Send CV and cover letter by email to hiring@ckut.ca or drop it off at CKUT at 3647 Rue University, Montreal, Quebec, H3A2B3 by 6 p.m. EST on March 14, 2014. If you would like to be considered for employment equity, please indicate such in your cover letter.